Hey guys, welcome to Tips and Tricks for Making Spaghetti Bridges. So I'm going to first go over the supplies that you guys are allowed to use. You can use Scotch tape or masking tape. We suggest 2 rolls because, again, we're going to do this bridge building in 2 phases. Phase 1 probably will use possibly up to all of the Scotch tape on the roll, and then you have a backup for when we do the modified bridges. This was not on the list, but suggestion if you're going to use clay or Play-Doh. Wax paper helps you keep it from sticking to a table or surface. Box of spaghetti noodles. And hopefully you have a much larger jar of clay or Play-Doh. I'm just going to use a little one. And then working materials. You can get a set of pliers. This helps you cut the noodles, or a sharp or large pair of shears that will help you cut the noodles. Okay, wax paper. When you're working with wax paper, you lay it down on one side. It has a tendency to curl up. You flip it over, lay the rolling upside down. It will stop rolling up on you and just kind of stretch it down. It keeps rolling on at the edges. You could always take a couple pieces of tape or masking tape to secure it down. Again, this will stop your clay or Play-Doh from sticking to the table that you're working with. So if you want to move your bridge, that gives you a nice option. You can always slide a nice piece of cardboard or a cutting board underneath it if you actually want to move it to a new location. With your spaghetti noodles. So spaghetti noodles are pretty thin. If your box says angel hair pasta, you might want to consider going out and getting actual spaghetti. They're a little thicker. Angel hair is really fine noodles and break very easily. When it comes to the noodles, if you want to make precise cuts, using a pair of pliers or a pair of shears helps you get it to the exact length. So these are about 10 inches each, and then you'd have half of the other one. You take a pair of pliers, snaps it nice and easy. This is very brittle. You can always snap it with your fingers, but if you want a nice edge or a clean cut, you can use the scissors or pliers. Scissors work really nicely too. Just make sure you make a nice quick cut. So we're going to ask you to make your bridges 15 inches tall and 15 inches in length. In order to make the towers for your bridge, if you take a few spaghetti noodles and you put them together in a clump, you can take your Scotch tape, wrap them around. I would do it at 2 or 3 points, or at least on both ends, and just huddle them together. You just put those together. It gives you a nice tower to work with, and it's going to be much stronger than if you just have one. I would also put one more set of tape in the middle there, and that gives you a good working foundation. In order to connect one part of the tower to the other, you can use tape. That's a little bit awkward. You can also take your Play-Doh, create a little ball, and put that on the end. Got a little demo model here to show you. So you guys can see I took and created Play-Doh bases and stuck my towers inside of that. And then at the top, I've got my joints. You might want to also consider securing your joints across. You can make an X, or you can just take and put a joint right across there. But you can always just stick your spaghetti noodles in a piece of Play-Doh and just keep building your towers that way. And then as you're going across on your towers, just keep reinforcing. We're not limiting the number of towers you guys can build. You can build a tower on the one end and a tower on the other. I would suggest putting a support tower in the middle that will help you support your structure. If you are working with a suspension or cable stay bridges, you guys also are required to use either string or yarn to show those cables that help secure the bridge. I'm going to show you guys my little mock model here. Just kind of show you what you can do to secure these. So you can see I've got 2 towers here, and then I've got the extension. I would not do this out of one noodle. I'd do multiple noodles here. I would also put a support structure here so that you can go and put your cables on both of those structures and tie them to your deck. Your deck is going to be basically the bridge, roadway, or sidewalk that goes across the bridge. Yes, I know this is not legit tower over here, but if you are building a spaghetti bridge, you might want to consider putting a support under your bridge as you build so that it all just stays intact and stops it from falling over. When you're doing your cables, you'll want to secure it or tie it off on one end of the bridge. I'm going to cheat a little. Another technique that a lot of my kids used last year was taking a piece of tape, securing it on the bridge, and then you can either take and loop it back and retape it, or you can tape it directly onto the deck. So those are your 2 options working with suspension and cable stay bridges. I hope this video gave you guys just a few ideas that you can work with when you're doing your spaghetti bridges. Remember, spaghetti is a very brittle material, so it breaks easily. So there might be moments of frustration. Just walk away if you need to and come back to it. We're going to give you guys the entire week to work on this. Your Flipgrid videos will be due on Thursday for my class and Friday for Mrs. Grezek. Take care. Have a great day, guys.